What if everything you believe about Taurus is only half the story? Most videos will tell you Taurus is loyal, dependable, and great with money. And sure, on the surface, that sounds nice, but there's something hidden underneath all that calm, steady energy. Something the horoscope apps will never warn you about. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why Taurus might be the most quietly self-destructive sign in the entire zodiac. And if you're a Taurus, or you love one, some of this is going to hit uncomfortably close to home. We're going to cover 6 specific traits, but the last one, that's the one that changes everything. Stick around for it. Everyone knows Taurus is stubborn. That's practically the first thing on their Wikipedia page. But here's what nobody explains. Their stubbornness isn't just about being hard-headed. It runs much, much deeper than that. When a Taurus makes a decision, it doesn't matter what new information shows up, what changes around them, or who gets hurt in the process. That decision is locked in, permanent. And the terrifying part? They often don't even realize they're doing it. Think about that friend who stayed in the wrong job for 3 years, watching everyone else get promoted, but refused to learn the new system the company rolled out. Sound familiar? That's not dedication. That's the bull, refusing to move. But here's the twist. This stubbornness doesn't come from laziness. It actually comes from something much darker, something rooted in deep psychological fear. And we'll come back to that later, because once you understand where it comes from, everything else about Taurus finally makes sense. Taurus gets called materialistic a lot. And yeah, they love beautiful things, good food, expensive taste, comfortable homes, but calling it materialism actually misses the real issue. For Taurus, objects aren't just objects, they're emotional anchors. When life feels uncertain or chaotic, Taurus reaches for something physical to hold on to. A luxury item, a status symbol, a routine that never changes. It's not about greed, it's about control. And this is where it gets dark. When your sense of security is built on things you own instead of who you are, you become terrifyingly fragile. Lose the job, lose the apartment, lose the designer bag. And suddenly, Taurus loses themselves along with it. The people around a Taurus often feel this without understanding it. Partners feel second to possessions. Friends feel like they're competing with a lifestyle. And Taurus, completely unaware, wonders why no one feels close to them anymore. Now, pause for a second, because this next part is where most Tauruses will either nod their head or completely deny it. Either way, pay attention. Taurus doesn't just love the people in their lives, they claim them. And at first, it feels like devotion. Who doesn't want to feel wanted? But there's a razor-thin line between devotion and ownership. And Taurus crosses it constantly. Their partner laughs a little too long at someone else's joke at a party. And suddenly, the whole night turns cold. A friend cancels plans twice, and Taurus quietly files them under "can't be trusted." There's no conversation, no second chance, just a mental note locked away forever. And here's the brutal irony. Taurus holds on so tight, so desperately, that they squeeze the life out of every relationship. The very people they're trying to keep, they're the ones who run first, every single time. Now, you might be asking, why? Why does someone who claims to value loyalty keep destroying the things they love most? The answer is coming. And honestly, it's not what most people expect. Most people can be wronged and eventually let it go. Not Taurus. Taurus keeps a mental archive. Every disappointment, every betrayal, every moment someone let them down. It's all stored, cataloged, and never deleted. Years can pass, decades even. And when the moment comes, sometimes over something completely unrelated, all of it comes flooding back at once. What's fascinating about this is that it's not pure anger, it's grief. Taurus grieves relationships with an intensity that most other signs simply can't relate to. When someone breaks their trust, it genuinely breaks something inside them. The grudge is how they protect themselves from ever feeling that again. But protection, when it goes too far, becomes a prison. And Taurus doesn't realize they're the ones who built the walls. Here's the thing about Taurus anger that people never see coming. And they really should. Taurus is the most patient sign in the zodiac. They absorb, they endure, they let things go over and over in silence. And most people around them think this means Taurus doesn't really have a breaking point. They are so wrong. Because while every other sign might explode in the moment and cool down quickly, Taurus does the opposite. They go quiet, they contain it. And when enough has finally been stored up, and only Taurus knows when that moment arrives, the release is unlike anything you've ever seen from them. It's not a flash, it's a detonation. Calculated, focused, and absolute. They're not flailing, they know exactly what they're doing. And afterwards, they don't feel guilty, they feel relieved. Because for Taurus, that was just justice. Scary? A little. But here's the bigger question. Where does all of this actually come from? Because we've talked about stubbornness, possessiveness, materialism, grudges, and rage. But all of these are symptoms. What's the root cause? What is the single thing that drives all of this? That's what we're talking about next. Here it is, the thing we've been building to this whole video. Every single trait we've talked about. The stubbornness, the materialism, the possessiveness, the grudges, the rage, they all come from one place. One core wound that almost every Taurus carries, and almost none of them would ever admit to. Fear of loss. Not just the fear of losing a person or a thing, the fear of losing their sense of security altogether. Taurus, more than any other sign, is wired to equate safety with control. And the moment they sense that control slipping, even slightly, every single defense mechanism activates at once. They hold their opinions like a shield because changing their mind feels like losing ground. They cling to possessions because objects don't leave. They suffocate relationships because love feels terrifying when you've been let down before. They hold grudges because letting go means accepting that someone had power over them. And here's what's almost poetic about it. Taurus is one of the strongest signs in the zodiac. Genuinely resilient, deeply loyal, capable of incredible endurance. But all of that strength, it's being spent defending against a loss that hasn't even happened yet. That's the real curse of Taurus. Not the stubbornness, not the temper. It's the fact that they are strong enough to build an entire life, but spend most of that strength building walls instead of bridges. The Tauruses who break that cycle, they become extraordinary. The ones who don't, well, you already know how that story ends. So, do you think this is accurate? Or did we miss something? Drop it in the comments, especially if you're a Taurus and you either completely agree or completely don't. And if you want to see us break down another sign the same way, no sugarcoating, no generic horoscope stuff, hit subscribe because we do this for every sign. Next up, we're going into the sign that astrologers are almost afraid to talk about, honestly. I'll just say this, it's not who most people expect. You'll find out soon.